homes recently made a 13-year high, so we have a 13-year high. Atlanta Fed GDP, and it's something that they with now forecasts the point and incorporates it into the quarterly estimates. It looks like they're showing 20% annualized growth in the current quarter. So 20% in the current quarter will take that all day long. Now let's see if that's right. That's a projection.
It's just not going
So
away.
we'll see if that's right. The Atlanta
It's not
Fed
going
data
away.
is expected. The virus, after that, we are continuing to monitor
It's not going away.
and
It's not going away.
monitor particular hotspots across the southwest, and the west. And we're seeing indications that our strong mitigation efforts are working very well, actually, especially to protect those who are most at risk, which has really been our primary focus for ever since we've gotten to understand this horrible plague that's been unleashed in our country by China. As of yesterday, cases are declining in 70% of the jurisdictions compared to 36% last Monday. That's a big number. 11 out of 13 states with the positive rate above 10% have seen a decline in daily cases since mid-July. In other states, the data suggests that the need for continuing vigilance always is strong, even though the numbers are getting very good. States that have a test positivity rate between 5 and 10%, and in the states with the lowest positivity rates, we also see slight increases in daily cases in a couple of them. We must ensure that these states do not become new flare-ups, so we're watching them very, very closely. Fortunately, thanks to substantial improvements in treatment and the knowledge we have gained about the disease itself, the recent rise in cases has not been accompanied by a significant increase in deaths. Fatalities nationwide are at roughly half the level of the April peak, so the number of deaths or fatalities are at half the level. One is too much, one death, because this should have never happened to us. It should have been stopped very easily by China in Wuhan. Thanks to our major advances in treatment, we've seen vast improvements in recovery rates across all age groups. Compared to April, mortality rates are 85% lower among individuals aged 18 to 69 and 70% lower among individuals over 70 years old. We've also made significant strides in sheltering those at highest risk, especially the elderly. Approximately 85% of all current cases are individuals under the age of 65. Just getting some very accurate numbers on this. And these are people who are generally at a much lower risk of complications. Since the pandemic began, nearly half of all fatalities have been at nursing homes or assisted living centers. It's an incredible statistic when you hear that number. This data underscores that the best path forward is an aggressive strategy focused on protecting Americans at highest risk. As we race toward the development of a vaccine, we must continue to take extraordinary precautions to shield the elderly, and we're doing that. We're doing that at a level that we've never even dreamt possible, both with testing and with common sense. And those with underlying conditions, especially the elderly with the underlying, whether it's heart or diabetes, they seem to be the two most predominant conditions that cause tremendous problems, while allowing those at lowest risk to carefully return to work and to school. Where embers flare up, we must engage immediately, and that's what we're doing. This is the science-based approach, and that's good with us, working very hard on that. An extended lockdown would fail to target resources at the highest risk populations while inflicting massive economic pain, long-lasting damage on society and public health as a whole. So there won't be lockdowns, but we watch specific areas. We're very careful, and we're putting out embers, we're putting out flames. when you look at what's happening with Miami, and the numbers are going down, but Florida's going down very significantly. Texas and California are going down rather significantly. On telemedicine, as we discussed the last time, and as I said numerous times during this day, it's an incredible thing that's happening. A central part of our effort to protect the elderly is to greatly expand access to telehealth so seniors can be treated from the safety of their homes. And that's what's happening. The number of Medicare beneficiaries using telehealth increased from roughly 14,000 a week to nearly 1.7 million. So from 14,000 to 1.7 million per week in total. 10 million Medicare beneficiaries have accessed telehealth services since the pandemic began. It's a tremendous thing that's happened with telehealth. As we shelter those at high risk, we are also pouring every resource at our disposal into the development of therapies and vaccines. 2 vaccine candidates are currently in the final stage of clinical trials, with several more vaccine candidates entering phase 3 in the coming weeks. And you've read and seen what's happened today. Today's news was very exciting. Through Operation Warp Speed, we're also mass producing all of the most promising vaccine candidates, and we're determined to have a vaccine very quickly. We think we're going to have something very soon. We have great companies. These are among the greatest companies in the world. But right now they don't like me so much because I'm forcing them to drop drug prices, prescription drug prices, very massively. Some of these companies are involved in that, some of them aren't. We're having you'll see a tremendous drop in price. We're using favored nations, we're using the rebates, we're using everything. So long I've heard about how wealthy the middlemen are. They call them the middlemen. And they are very wealthy. Nobody even knows who they are, but they're very wealthy people. And we're doing the rebates. We're doing purchases from other countries, like Canada, which buys drugs for much less money than the United States is allowed to under a very bad system. I don't call it archaic, I call it bad, because it's meant really for drug companies to get higher prices. But under the system of matching that we have, if Germany has a pill for 10 cents and ours is $2, we're allowed to say we want favored nations and we want the pill for the same. The same as the lowest country in the world. If they sell to one country lower than anybody else, that's the price we're going to get. Drug companies are too happy about that. Big Pharma. We've also dramatically accelerated the development of plasma therapies, steroid and other therapies to treat the illness. NIH, we're very excited to announce they're beginning the trial of 2 new antibiotic treatments, which will...
This is my last video. Feels like it could because I don't think I'm getting better. This is the last video. Just want you to know that I think you should go to Act 17 Apologetics, David Wood. His friend Sam Shamoon. They're really good at exposing Islam. And also, really, my very first Islam teacher, who I still revere, Christian Prince. He started off as Investigate Islam. I knew he was on something good, and that he was right on. With the very first video that he made, first video I ever knew of, that could be pulled off. It was his. The Muslims got YouTube to pull that video off. That was back like 2008. And so it prepared me to copy and paste my stuff into my computer. You know, that may not always be there. On the internet. Oh gosh, this is sort of a... Anyway, so I was saying, Christian Prince, he used to go by the name of Investigate Islam. He's a native Arab speaker, and he knows the Quran. Very much knows the Quran and Hadith. And he can, if the public, the main public could come upon those videos of David Woodsack, 17 Apologetics, or the Apostate Prophet, or some videos of Christian Prince, author of The Deception of Allah and The Quran and Science in Depth. Well, you can go to those sites on YouTube and, well, you'll know about Islam. You can spread the word. Let Muslims know how badly the Quran blows up with science. That meteors burning up Earth's atmosphere aren't little stars chase away Satan. That ants don't talk. They don't talk. They don't talk. They communicate through odors. And the Quran has the ants speaking, saying to the other ants, "Oh ants, get thee to thy dwelling places, so that you are not crushed by Solomon and his troops as the perceive not." Impossible for an ant to dispel that out with the odors from its butt. Because the ant, it communicates through odors. And anyway, if you can get a hold of, go to the videos. 17 Apologetics, The Apostate Prophet, something by Stam Shamoon, Jay Smith, Christian Prince. So this is The Apostate Prophet. Well, people find out about them. Islam's over. Islam's over. I think I'll quit here. Maybe. Bye.